She's somebody who's become a really good friend of mine because she was a speaker at last year's event, and I wanted to meet her. I wanted to, find out more about her organization. So here to represent the Adirondack North Country Gender Alliance, we have Kelly Metzger.
Hey, Kelly.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for sticking around on this cold evening. And thank you for North Country Respect. I'm wearing both pins today to show my solidarity. So thank you so much for coming. In the last year, I became a new mommy. So many of you have seen me with my little girl, my little Lexi down there. She has certainly changed our lives in a lot of different ways. As I stood here 1 year ago, I was filled with anxiety and doubt about the federal election that had just taken place. Uncertain of what laid ahead for our country, our citizens, given the rhetoric that was preceding the election in that campaign season. Today, I stand before you with fear such as I've never experienced in my adult life. That's all right. There we go.
Okay,
You gotta love being a mommy. She is my baby. Over the past year, we've seen deterioration of basic civil and human rights on levels from our federal government. We've seen community after community targeted with hateful rhetoric, rescinding hard-fought-for rights and protections on a scale never before seen. We see a federal government out of control in the basic protections of its citizens. No person, no class, or group of people are exempt from this hateful language, policies, executive orders, or laws that are coming from our federal government, which under our U.S. Constitution is here to protect its citizens. As I stand here today in fear of our basic human and civil rights protections, demonstrations, rallies, marches such as this are more vital than ever to show our unity, our support for each other, not only across this nation, but also across New York State, and especially here in the Adirondack North Country. We are a community of people who depend on each other for our very existence, especially when it's cold. Come to Saranac Lake and I'll give you -30. We support, encourage, and embrace the dignity of all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, veteran status, physical or mental health. We support our democratically elected government officials who fight tirelessly for the rights and protections of all people in this nation. We must reject and replace those who govern strictly on repressive political party lines, either on the federal level, such as our U.S. congressional representative, or on the state senatorial level. We need to elect officials to govern as to the will of the people, and not as their high price tag donors or party officials dictate. As this year's midterm election draws near, the voices of Adirondack North Country residents who support basic human rights need to be heard loud and clear, else those in marginalized communities will continue to be cast further aside in favor of rich, powerful, and the mighty. As we did 1 year ago, we come together to join with people all around this nation to profess all people are deserving of dignity and respect. We will not tolerate hate, injustice, bigotry, misogyny, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, racial, ethnic, or religious profiling. We stand for health care for all people in this nation, regardless of age, income, LGBTQ status, or other measure of personhood. We stand for women's right to self-determination of their bodies, including protections to the healthcare support for those opting to use the services provided by Planned Parenthood. We stand for the rights of the LGBTQ community to be able to live, love, and be accepted for who we are as people. We stand for the protection of our immigrant people from wherever they came from or however they entered this country. Let us remember, none of us are native to this land. All of our ancestors arrived here from distant shores in the near or distant past. And we stand to protect our environment, our planet, for this and for future generations. In Saranac Lake, I am part of the Peace with Justice group of the Saranac Lake Ecumenical Council. Long title. For years, our group has been based on the teachings and example of Dr. Martin Luther King. So as we recall Dr. King's word for a moment, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The time is always right to do what is right. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of controversy and challenge. It is not possible to be in favor of justice for some people and not to be in favor of justice for all people. Once again, and I know we can do this because we did it last year, let us take the hands of our brother and sister standing here beside us. Take the hands of your neighbor. We can do this. We did it a year ago. You proved it is possible.
Thank you.
Now that we have this first part, let's raise our hands. This is what unity looks like. Let us join our thoughts, our hopes, our prayers with other like-minded people around this country. Let us progress to a sense of greater openness, acceptance, and love to those in our families, in our places of employment, education, and worship. Let us go forth in our community to be a beacon of light, hope, openness, love, and acceptance. And as we did last year, repeat after me. Let us be Plattsburgh proud and North Country strong.
Let us be Plattsburgh proud and North Country strong.
Thank you.
Well,
And Lexi says thank you too.
all right, how do I turn this off? She'll turn it off.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you to all our speakers. I want to thank our fellow organizers.